Hello,
Can you?
how are you?
I'm fine, thank. How about you?
Very well, thank you. A little sleepy.
I know it's morning in there, right?
For normal people, it's not, but for musicians, it's a bit early.
You spent like 22 years with Toto, and then you played with the other people, well-known people. What about nowadays? Like, because you changed the whole life for Toto. You moved into LA and you're
hmm
still in the States.
Well, I think all the time I was with Toto, I was always busy doing other projects when I could. One of those projects was my solo project. Then I did another couple of records whilst in living in England,
Mm.
and then moved to the States, joined Toto, blah, 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 and then did my first album over here, which was Symbiosis, at the end of 1996. And that's when I put my first band together to actually do a serious European tour. I kind of see that as the start of the protocol touring period. You know, I've been doing sessions since I was 16 years old. And the other thing was I've had a studio since the mid 80s
Mhm.
in England. And then when I moved, I was eager to get a studio back together again, and then eventually opened Phantom Recordings, which in 2004. So while I had that studio, I was busy doing, all sorts of things, mixing for other people, mixing other albums, recording albums there. We did one of the Toto records there,
Mhm.
Falling in Between. We actually did one of the Toto albums in my house in
Really? Which one?
um,
Which one is that?
that was a covers album called Through the Looking Glass.
Uh-huh.
I'd converted my house basically to a studio. It was hilarious. It was really funny. And I had ambient mics in the kitchen, and in the garage I had a big kind of soundproof cover to put guitar
Uh-huh.
amps or Leslie in. Um, and Steve Lukather had been working over at my studio on different projects, and
Mhm.
he said, "Hey, this is great. We love it." So the band said, "Oh, let's go to Simon's house to record."
Mhm.
So it was kind of fun. They liked the way that I engineer. And so the next album, Falling in Between, was done at my real studio. I needed more time to do production. Being on the road all the time, it's just not my thing.
Uh,
I grew up as a studio musician. I grew up in the studio. I grew up as a recorder too, as a recording engineer.
Most of the musicians that I know that I met usually prefer to travel. They love gigs and they love, the tours and everything. This is the first time somebody just saying that loving recording and staying at the studio is better than to travel. Wow.
Interesting. Well, okay, from a musician's point of view, when you go on the road
Mhm.
and gig, and it's great to travel, and obviously I love playing in front of audiences, but you're still playing the same music night after night after night.
Yeah.
Early on in my career, I got used to playing new music every single day. My days consisted of probably three different sessions in three different studios. And I'd get there 10 o'clock in the morning, and there would be four songs that I've never seen, never heard, and never played before. I love the intensity of that and the spontaneity of that.
Mhm.
Usually do three or four songs per 3 hour session. So that's 12 new songs that
Mhm.
I had to either sight read or learn and play, and will never play again. And I think I just love that whole concept. That's the difference really about going live. You play the same song over and over again.
Uh-huh.
And in a recording studio, you're playing new music all the time. To me, it's just more exciting.
So you moved from England to LA, and since
Yeah.
then you're still in there. I mean, like it's almost 30 years. So you
It's
never,
coming up 30
yeah,
years at the end of this year.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you never
End of
went,
next year.
yeah, you never went back. So it's a huge change of life. Can you please tell us a little bit about like this life-changing decision?
Actually, I had wanted to move to the States very, very early on. And in fact, when I was around 8 or 9 years old,
Mhm.
all the musicians I listened to were American.
Mhm.
And even then, I kind of wanted to go to New York or Los Angeles, and I had no idea where they were. It was a very early dream I had. And then I first went there in 1974, and I just was amazed at but people that I'd seen on the back of record covers and read on liner notes. Suddenly, I go to a club and there they are. You know, I got to see Miles Davis at the Bottom Line. I got to see Albert King at the Bottom Line. You know, it was then I got to meet Derringer, David Sanborn. I mean, it's like, wow, these are guys I just used to read on the back of album covers, and now they're there. Back then, you know, England was, you know, it was a pretty tough place to live. We're still in, you know, the Cold War, obviously, and the United States was just so much fun to be in. But the problem was I wasn't really known in the States. So I felt maybe this is not the wisest thing to do. And I waited until the 90s. I was just done with England and also done with the music business in England. And that's it. 35 years in England, I think is enough. So I'll spend 35 years in the States and we'll see.
I saw a page on your website to make some collaboration with the people. They can apply it on your website to have like, you know, some recordings or some drum sessions or, you know, mix mastering. And I know that you met with Han like this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I know you don't accept all the people. You're just listening to them. If you love the songs, then you accept to working with them. So first thing that you think when you heard his music?
First of all the people that contact me, it starts with an email. I have no idea what the music's like. I have no idea what the artist is like or anything, whether they're serious. So there's a little bit of backward and forward with emails, kind of just feeling it out. A lot of it is kind of intuition. It's kind of like, well, this guy seems pretty serious. I've actually met some really amazing people and been involved in some really amazing projects out of the blue. I mean, you know, not all the projects are, you know, amazing. They're just, you know, projects and they're okay. But some of these introductions turn into being a big project. The interesting thing is, and this is what I find, so people that know my playing, usually the music is a little bit more involved. It's either fusion-y, instrumental, some of it's quite difficult, but occasionally I'll get, like Hans, I'll get something which is, most people would probably think, well, why would he ask Simon Phillips to do that? And that's interesting too, that Han even thought about that, because when I hear his music, it's nothing like my music. It's straight pop or rock music. The interesting thing is that Han came to me with his music and he it wasn't a problem for him. You know, he didn't think, well, he wouldn't want to do this.
Another question, like what about the protocol?
No gigs, but the one thing I did during the COVID period was write a new album. And we went into the studio in June of this year and recorded it. And I literally just finished mixing it about 2 weeks ago. It is now mastered.
This is going to be the fifth one, right?
Protocol 5, yeah.
Do you have any other upcoming projects?
Well, obviously, you know, I mean, we should talk about Hans' project. That, of course, was done. Actually, I mixed all of it in rental houses with my Audible system. And the albums, you know, it was all done and everything. And I believe it's going quite well. I know there's one song is up for an award or nominated.
For the Grammys.
Yes, which is really, that's fantastic.
It is.
It's great.
Yeah.
And it was a really fun album to work on. The music was great, simple rock, lovely. And Han, and he came over. So unusually, I actually get to meet the person I'm working with. That's very unusual. You know, I never meet people. You just kind of, you know, you don't even know what they look like. It's hilarious. Yeah. It's so funny. I just mastered an album for an Irish band. And, you know, I have to go online to see what the band looks like. It's great. Wonderful band. Absolutely fantastic. So with Han, you know, he would travel over and we'd hang out. And of course, I mean, you know, we got on great. Absolutely lovely man. So, you know, it's nice to actually know the person that you're working with.
For sure.
And it was really fun. Really fun to do. I guess, you know, he loved the sound of the Protocol records. And even though the music is vastly different, he just liked the way that the CD sounds, you know, the way the mixes sound. For me, it doesn't really matter what style of music it is. As a mixer, you know, you just find your way, the best way that you think portrays the music. You know, that's really what mixing is about. what kind of sound. And we all have our style, I guess. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, the basic sound probably is similar, because you have I'm very visual when it comes to sound. I know that sounds crazy because you can't see sound, but I see it in a way. When I listen to a record, I kind of can visualize what, the studio maybe, or the singer up against the microphone. I love records that really give me a feeling of, oh wow, I can almost see the band. So before I start a mix, I kind of have a think about it. What do I want to see in this mix? And I know it's really only about hearing, but that's how I do it. I have a visual positioning, and then that helps me visualize how I place everything in the stereo picture, depending on the instrumentation that I have.
Yeah.
And then you start mixing, and bang, bang, and there it is. And Han, obviously loved that approach, and he loved the mixes, and then that was the album.
Yeah, I know. And the results are great. I mean, I love the Barista's music, actually. Have you ever been to Turkey before?
I have. I can't remember if it was once or twice. And it was with Hiromi, to play a concert with the pianist Hiromi, that I was in the trio project for 6 years, actually. And Han was at that concert. Yeah, I don't remember the hall that we played in, but it was a nice kind of classical concert hall. I can't remember if we played once or twice. Maybe it was only once. I've very, very limited time. And I know what it was. Yes. We played Istanbul, and then later we came back and we went down south to play
Bodrum.
I don't remember.
Bodrum, Antalya.
One of those towns down there. So twice. So my knowledge and experience of Turkey is very limited. Yeah.
I hope next time you can spend more time in Istanbul. Maybe you can play with Han in Istanbul. It could be great. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah, I hope so too.
So when I told my friends that I'm going to do an interview with you, some of my friends knows you from different projects. Most of them knows you from Toto, but some of them says, oh, he played this band, he played with this person, and they got really excited about it. Everybody, especially the people who are into music, knows you very well in Istanbul. What would you like to say to the people that loves you in here?
Well, I would love to come to Turkey to play with Protocol. That I would love to do, because it would be really fun to play my own project in there. But I don't know, I hope that would be possible sometime in the future once we all start traveling again. It's a very specialized music. I don't know where we would play and get an audience, but we have to get a promoter that would be willing to bring the band. But that would be really fun. That would be really lovely. Always wonderful to know that you have fans in different places in the world for for different reasons, different bands that I'm in. That's lovely. It's fantastic. Yeah. I hope to get back very soon. I do miss traveling.
You do, right? I do too. So thank you very much. It was really nice to meet you. Brief.
Nice to meet you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. And have a nice day.
All right. Yes. So have a whole day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.